All right, so Brenda asked a question, and you had just mentioned activated charcoal, so this is perfect timing. She says, since activated charcoal can be used to help detoxify, why is it that acrylamides found in browned or blackened carbohydrates are a known carcinogen? How do they differ?
That's a good question. Acrylamides are the like for example, if people don't know, if it's like a potato that is baked or cooked in high heat, and it starts really browning, and then getting the crunchy parts of the potato that we like on maybe sometimes on the French fries. They're different than activated charcoal in that activated charcoal carbon structure is made for chelation. And activated charcoal is able to bind, and it has a process called adsorption, meaning it calls in molecules of a charge to stick to it so it can pull it out. It's the same way like a Brita may work, or any water filter. When it comes to acrylamide, it is the function of carbohydrates baked under high heat going through a chemical change. It's not the same. Acrylamide, baked potato is not forming activated charcoal. It's forming acrylamide. The molecular structure, I know, I don't know it, but I know it's not the same as activated charcoal. They're two different things.
Okay. Yeah, because oftentimes, like you were mentioning, French fries, something that is cooked at high heat is where the acrylamides come into play. And that, of course, we know is not ideal.
Yeah. It's not ideal. I mean, to eat it every single day. What would be more concerning is the PAHs that are created in meat. So when if someone was to cook meat on high heat and barbecue it, that definitely is one of the environmental exposures. When I would do my environmental talks, um, they're aromatic hydrocarbons, they're called. And when I would do my environmental talks in the hospital, those was one of the things I always cover is cooking on high heat and the blackening of meat, of protein. So that would be something that I always advise my cancer patients against. I said, hey, if you're gonna eat meat, you can't be cooking it on the grill. It has to be under much lower heat. No blackening of the meat. That's a little more concerning to me than acrylamide. Although acrylamide is, especially if you're doing it every day, can be concerning. But one-time dose of it is pound for pound going to be less quote unquote destructive than eating like a blackened charred meat.
Okay. Yeah, oftentimes now you see, charred Brussels sprouts. It's like it defeats the whole purpose of the cruciferous.
Right. That's a whole nother thing. I love cruciferous vegetables, but we cannot be burning them like that,
Hmm.
right? Especially when we're working to help our body utilizing all of the nutrients in cruciferous vegetables to detoxify. We can't just be they're sensitive, right?
Hmm.
So, and I'll say it now, like we should either, I mean, I can't eat raw cruciferous vegetables. I'll be a mess for a few days. So what I do sometimes is I'll steam them, but even steaming them for a long time is going to get rid of those really sensitive enzymes that are creating that downstream nutrient isothiocyanates that are going to be really powerful for detoxification of the system, especially in the liver. So I often say, hey, why don't you use a little mustard seed powder? It's a little hack where even if you do cook, let's say, for example, your broccoli, or you steam it, or you want to like you want to have some broccoli, and you like it a little bit, you like it a little bit cooked on the pan, and some flavor to it. Great, put some raw mustard seed powder on it, and you'll help replenish that nutrient in there, because most of us are not going to eat raw cruciferous vegetables. And it only takes a little bit of even steaming with the air steamer, not even in the water, to start for that enzyme that creates that downstream detoxifying nutrient to be broken down. It's really sensitive.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. That's good. So that raw mustard seed powder, guys, let's get that and use that as our hack.
Or you can cut, let's say, for example, the broccoli, and leave it out for about an hour,
Mhm.
and then you can cook it how you want. It's just the act there needs to be a chemical change, like a mastication. You're chewing on it and it's activating that enzyme, but you can also cut it and it'll activate it to create that beautiful nutrient that helps support the liver.
Right. I think that that's important. That's one of those things too, where if you are cooking broccoli or cauliflower or Brussels sprouts, chop those up. Meanwhile, while you're maybe getting everything else prepped, setting the table and doing all of
Hmm.
that, and then go
There
ahead
you
and steam
go.
that. Yep.
Exactly.
That's a lot of times what I do because then I just kind of cut it, deal with everything else, and then come back to it.